Hi everyone, it's me Darlene. I am back with another moving update. I know I said I would be doing more videos like this, but right now I just want to wait till the 5-month period is up so that they will continue to send my checks. And then I will be talking more about different nightmare experiences and stuff like that. Yes, I got the check this time just a day before the due date. So the first check was during the grace period after the due date. The second one was, I can't remember. The second and third, I think one was maybe on the due date, one was before the due date. This is the fourth check, and it was the day before the due date. So I have one more coming in August, and it'll be before my birthday. So that's pretty cool, right? My birthday's on the last day of August. Excuse me while I sip hot coffee because I have a deep desire to burn the roof of my mouth. That was not hot enough. So the check is here, and I am still very upset about how this was all handled. And to be honest, I'm mostly upset with my lawyer because I just don't think she did me right. I wish this would have happened when I was younger, because I would have learned something so important back then. But now, the knowledge I gained through this is most likely not going to be necessary, because I don't see myself moving across country. And if I did, it would be by moving myself. I don't care if I'm old or whatever. I would find people or hire people to pack the stuff, hire somebody to drive my stuff to the new location. I would not use a moving company. I just wouldn't. Now that I've scared you guys, I do have the page on my blog up with good tips for you. It is vastly different than when I had it uploaded during all that mess, because I was linking to all kinds of things that would make you aware of who the mover is. I know many of you know. But I can't help that. I can't erase people's memories. I just can't say it. So I had to make a lot of changes, but instead of making the changes, which would be very time consuming, I just, copied that version of the blog, and I just put information briefly, just shortcuts to things. The stuff that you need right now if you think you might be moving. And someone did message me and ask if I could give tips because she had a friend moving soon. And I said, you are the one encouraging me now to get this done. So I have it open. It's on my blog. It's on the left sidebar. But if you are looking at pages of mine, and I use pages for like my exclusive sales, the left sidebar doesn't show. But if you just go to darlenemichaud.com, you're going to send people there if they are moving. darlenemichaud.com, left sidebar. It's down below my links. You'll see a moving truck. Darlene's Moving Nightmare. And then after that, you'll see some of Derek's music covers that he recorded playing bass on YouTube. You can always go check those out. And I'm going to go over it briefly. Moving nightmares, I let you know when I've updated the last time. Oh, and I just updated today, so 7/20/2025. And it explains that this is a page to help people who are moving, what to do before the move, during the move, after the move, all that stuff. And, I disclose that I'm not a lawyer. I should have been. I promise you, I would have been a very good lawyer, and I would have fought hard for my people. I really, really would have. My people. See, I don't even call them my clients. I would have had them be my people, and I would have helped I know I could have done a very good job. With all the overthinking I do, I would have thought of everything. And I do have a link to the new videos that I have uploaded about this. And, I explain a little bit how I got sued. And then I have a section that I just added today about my suggestions. And I'm heavy on having you record every single thing, right from the phone calls that you make. And, sometimes you'll hear a message, this call may be recorded. Let them know I'm recording it on my end also. And record. And if they say, no, you can't do that, you don't want to do business with them. You just don't. Call somebody else. And you are allowed to record the movers. And I tell you what you should be recording. Let me see. I can just tell you briefly here. I suggest you record every single call. I don't know if I said that, but you'll understand that you should be doing that after you read this. You need to be recording them taking your stuff out, putting it in the truck. You need to record the inside of the truck. I questioned why they had a heavy mechanical Craftmatic adjustable bed, heavy, something like 175 pounds. I had to look that up and actually called the company, and they still had records of what that particular bed weighed without the mattress. And it was way up high. And of course, one of those beds was broken. So they obviously dropped it from that height when they thought it was just going to stay there, but it was stacked on top of things and it broke. So you record the inside of the truck. Anytime you question them and say, look, I don't think that should be there, record yourself talking. Just has to be your voice, and record them. Just tell them once when they get there, I'm going to be recording this. And you can record. You don't have to say it every single time. Record the inside of the truck when they get to your new location before they start taking things out, because then you'll see if things toppled over. So record that. Record them moving your stuff in. Record any damages. Be clear about that. Make sure you get all of that, because if you have insurance, insurance is a joke. I'll talk about that at some point. You want to be able to record and have proof of the damages. Oh, and one of the things you want to ask them, anytime something is damaged, did you guys damage this on the way here, or did you pick it up damaged? They will most likely say they picked it up that way, because they want to blame the movers who picked you up, because 9 times out of 10, the people who picked you up are not going to be the people who deliver. You're most likely going to go into storage. I don't have that there yet. I will continue to tell my tips. Be sure you ask and record the mover that you're talking to on the phone if they are a broker, a mover, or both. And will your cargo go in that truck and that truck alone? I was told they were both a mover and a broker, but they were going to be acting as my mover, and that I would be on one truck, no storage, one truck. There was a cancellation, and that's why there was enough room for my stuff, because they will do extra loads. I would have my stuff in 4 to 7 days, even though they have to say 21. 4 to 7, because they were ready. They were ready for my load, and they would come out and get it, and that didn't happen. They sent me to somebody else, and that somebody else had me in storage for almost a month. It was almost a month before I got my stuff. Okay, so you have to ask a lot of questions, and I will have more of those questions on here as I have time. I just want to get this started. Keep track of who actually moves you, both ends, because you're most likely going to have a swap there. Ask the moving company if they are a mover, a broker, or both, and who is going to be moving you, and are you going to be on one truck or will you be put in storage? Record all of that. And then I do state, I have more tips, and I'll be adding to this along the way. Then comes the links that are very important. You need to click on every one of those links and read up as much as you can. Step number 1 is protect your move, how to get started. Step number 2 is the most important. That's the one that you're going to go and put in the DOT number. You need the DOT number. If you find somebody on a website, take a screenshot of the DOT number, whether you snip it and save it or do it with your phone, whatever. You know, I don't use my phone for things like this. The DOT number that is on their website, that's important, because if you sign something with a different DOT, that's because they did the switch and bait. They probably are a mover and a broker. Usually the moving DOT will be on the website, and the broker DOT is what you're actually signing up for. And you don't know that. I would have never known to look for that. But I did a lot of homework once I knew I was getting sued. And then you're going to search for them in the movers database. You're going to use the DOT for step number 2 to search in the moving database, and you will know if they have a current license, if they've been fined, you know, things like that. And then the next one is prepare for your move. And then 4 is during your move, what you can do, and then after your move, especially if you have problems and issues. So then I give you 2 places to file a complaint. The NCCDB, that's an important one, and the Better Business Bureau. So those are the 2 places that you can complain to, and I highly suggest you do both. There's other places too, but I didn't get around to them. And as for reviews, I do have the Better Business Bureau, because again, you want to read the reviews, not just for your moving company, but for knowledge. Even before you even hire somebody, you can go look at other people's complaints and you'll say to yourself, oh, I never thought that could happen, so I better ask about that. It's very good to have all the education you need before you hire a mover. And the best place to get that is from people who have already done it. And if you see the same kind of complaints like I did after the fact, because I didn't even really have time. My plans changed and we had to go. I had to get a mover, and I fell for the promises that I was told. But if people are saying the same things, like I got charged extra, I got charged too much, they wouldn't take my stuff unless I gave them another $2,000. I was very fortunate that I didn't have that happen, because you're stuck. You're stuck all of a sudden. So talk to your moving company about that. Will I get charged anything extra? And if they say no, you want that recorded. Now, obviously, if you said you were moving a studio apartment and they come and it's a mansion, you can't expect that. But if you've been honest about your move and how much stuff you have, they're not supposed to be asking you for extra. But yeah, so reviews, definitely look at the Better Business Bureau and Yelp. Yelp is good. And then I can't find like a site for Google reviews, but if you look up your company's name, like XYZ Moving, type XYZ Moving Reviews or XYZ Moving Complaints. There'll be a place usually to click for the Google reviews, stuff like that. There's a lot of ways to do homework, but you need to start doing it months in advance. So even if you're just thinking about moving down the road, I would get educated. I would start looking. If you're moving quickly, try to find somebody who is not a broker or who will not broker you out. I hope that this helps somebody. I do have an email address on there. I think it's movingnightmares@yahoo.com, and Derek laughed because he says nobody uses Yahoo anymore, Ma. I was like, I don't care. And I am more than willing, if you have somebody in mind, I'm not going to do all the homework for you. I'd like you to do your homework first, but then say, you can ask me, like, on this page, give me the link, what does this mean? Or what do you think about this company? You know, do the homework and don't just say, Darlene, find me a mover. I'm not doing that. You do the homework and you can pass it by me, and I'll more than gladly look at that. And if it gets to the point ever that I don't have time to do those things, well, then I'll say so. Okay, I guess that's all I'm going to tell you for right now. I hope I can help somebody. I did when I first had this up. A couple of different people asked me, and I looked things up and said, bad reviews. I sent them the link to the reviews so that they could make their own decision. I'm not going to say to someone, don't use them, because it's not up to me to decide that. I can say, well, they're not licensed, for one, because I can look that up, and I wouldn't have to tell you don't use them in that case. You would just not use them, I would think. Or you wouldn't be asking for help. And I'm certainly not going to say, oh yeah, they sound great, go with them. No, because anything can sound great. You have to make the choice yourself. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching. And I was going to pass something by you guys, but not yet. Not yet. Subscribe. Maybe I will eventually ask for your help. All right? Thank you so much for watching. Bye.